Welcome back to Life Tomorrow. I'm your host, Hunter Mulford, and right now I have a very special guest. I'm here with Roman Vinfield, who is the CEO of AI Assist. And AI Assist is the exclusive reseller into the financial marketplace for Conversica's artificial intelligence software. So I'm very excited to have you here with me today.
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So how did you first get involved with artificial intelligence and AI Assist?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Honestly, it was just happenstance, right? So I was walking through a convention, and I spoke to them. I said, what do you guys do? They were just another booth, and they said, we're an artificial intelligence sales assistant. And I said, I don't even know what that means, right? And so I actually have another company called Assure Funding, and so we became a client. And we were able to lower our cost by 75%. And so when I saw that, I said, I really need to be a part of this. And so I was able to, engage with Conversica and was able to get the exclusivity for the finance industry.
Awesome. And so Conversica utilizes these artificial intelligence or virtual sales assistants. Can you explain how that works?
Yeah, so Conversica works by using artificial intelligence and machine learning and applying it to email today. They're also expanding into text and chat. But today, basically, the way it works is you create an avatar, you give her a name, and you give her a title, and then you create a conversation based on where the lead is within your sales cycle, right? So it doesn't matter what product you're selling. If somebody expressed interest in your product or service and then went cold on you, that's kind of where they are. And so once you do that, the AI, based on the one conversation that you creates other emails, unique emails, and starts following up with the clients. And then when they respond, she understands what they're saying, right? So, there's other technology out there that does drip campaigns, but there's nobody out there that really, when the people respond, understands what they're saying. And so what she does is when the people respond, when the client responds, and says, yes, I'm interested in your product or service, she then goes ahead and makes them a hot lead, lets your salesperson know that this is somebody that they should be speaking with, and then actually continues to follow up, introduces the salesperson, verifies the phone number you have on file, gives the salesperson a couple of days to do their job and get in contact with the person, and then actually follows up yet again, making sure that your salespeople are doing what they're supposed to be doing and are staying in touch with the client. So all of that happens automatically simply by you creating one email conversation and by uploading the leads into the system.
So she's very involved, very engaged. But how does she interact and have these human-like conversations?
Yeah, so Conversica has been around for close to 9 years.
Wow.
They've sent out over 230 million messages, and through machine learning, she's able to really understand what the message is saying, right? Not just based on keywords, but on the approach, on a full approach to the actual message, where she understands the tone, where she understands kind of the meaning behind what it is the people are trying to say, right?
Right. And then you had mentioned that from one email conversation with would that be a client, or what about a sales rep, like the actual human sales rep? How does she interact with that person?
Yeah, so what she does is she makes their jobs a lot easier. What she does is she basically, she follows up and engages with the client, and when the people respond, if they're not interested, she stops emailing them, so she doesn't waste the salesperson's time following up with people who are not interested. She takes them off the list. But when they are interested, she then goes ahead and introduces them to the salesperson, the client to the salesperson, lets the salesperson know, sends them a message saying, hey, this is who you need to stay on top of, this is who you need to get in touch with, this is what they're saying, and then actually helps out again and just make sure that the salesperson is staying on top of the leads and notifies them if the person hasn't heard from them, kind of letting them know that, maybe you tried them, you didn't get in contact with them, you should kind of circle back and try to do it again. So she does all of this, fully automatically, and it's seamless, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and could she target additional people that aren't even on the list that could lead to more sales, or you have to have that original initial interaction?
Yeah, no, great question. So Conversica definitely works best when you have a unique list
Okay.
That you're going to contact. So maybe somebody contacted you and then they went cold, or maybe they, it's an upsell conversation. So you have your existing client and you're trying to sell them another product. But you can also use Conversica by taking raw data and then engaging with for prospecting purposes, and engaging with a list of these people to get them to go ahead and respond and create a completely new opportunity, a new client for yourself.
Absolutely.
You definitely need to upload some sort of data, but it ranges the gamut from, clients, hot leads, and then, that one cold, and then just raw data as well.
Exactly. And what do you think are the advantages of using this virtual assistant versus hiring another real human?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So we have clients that do both, right? So we have clients that use the artificial intelligence, and they actually have lower their workforce count, right? Because it's hard to scale when you have to continue to hire people and do all of that. It's also she's a lot more efficient and effective. So for example, she'll send out a total of up to 15 messages back and forth. Now picture, our average client probably has 10,000 leads a month that they engage with, right? So we're talking about, 10,000 times 15. That's, 150,000 messages for somebody to send out. That's a workforce, to be able to send out those messages, understand what they're saying, loop in the salespeople, send out notifications. So if you take that into effect, it goes into the, hundreds of thousands. So it's a lot more efficient and effective, but we also have clients, and a lot of them actually, where they're getting so much more out of the leads that they have that they then turn around and hire people to handle all the extra business that they're having. They hire more salespeople, but to engage with the hot leads, right? So it basically takes out that initial, that initial part of it, the tedious part that salespeople don't really like to do. It takes that away from them and then allows them to focus on actually selling and working with hot clients and getting more out of a lead, so it can actually lead to a company hiring a lot more people, but people who actually bring in revenue.
Right, absolutely. So you would say that it doesn't necessarily limit jobs for humans. It just sort of changes the role that they play.
Absolutely. So it can, again, it can go both ways, but it absolutely gets people to, be more efficient and effective, and so they're able to hire more higher caliber positions. You know what I mean? So that's really what it's about. It's it's like any sort of revolution, right? Industrial revolution. You go from having people making horseshoes, right? To people becoming engineers and designing cars and and working on cars and becoming mechanics. So it just kind of raises the gamut of what they're actually doing.
And do you see any disadvantages to using Conversica's technology?
No, I mean I'm obviously a bit partial to the question. So
No, that makes sense.
But no, I don't. I truly don't. I think that it's it creates efficiencies and it gives you the ability to really maximize every opportunity, and that's key for any business.
Absolutely. And what are some major trends that you're seeing in the field of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so I think that humanizing automation is really what it's about. I think there's a lot more artificial intelligence that's coming where they look and feel like you're communicating with with AI. I'm sorry, where you're communicating with a real person, and they kind of pass the Turing test, where the person on the other side can't tell whether they're communicating with a computer or whether they're communicating with a with a real person.
Right.
So I think that there's definitely still they're very narrow in what they're doing, and I think what you hear a lot of people talking about and raising alarms about is when it's a kind of a self-aware AI that's able to just run the gamut of what it does, right? And so that I don't think we're there quite yet, but you are starting to see really focused technologies that automate any process that is being done repeatedly and is tedious.
Do you see the financial industry as an early or a late adopter in terms of implementing these artificial intelligence solutions?
Yeah, so great question. The finance industry tends to be a latent adopter of technologies
Okay.
because, obviously it's a very conservative industry, but you're starting to see the sales and marketing teams within those organizations are kind of, starting to, you know, adopt the trend. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas maybe certain parts of the organizations aren't, other parts are, and they're definitely looking at the underwriting aspects of it as well, which is the core of their business, a lot more closely and a lot more, carefully before they just go ahead and implement that, because you've seen a lot of companies that are just kind of fully automated and don't have that human underwriting, take some big losses and things like that. So it's that part of it is going to be looked at a lot more carefully, I think.
Definitely. And what industries across the financial sector do you envision will have the greatest impact when implementing the AI assist technology, the Conversica virtual assistant?
Yeah, so great question again. I think that we are seeing a lot of interest from mortgages,
Okay.
from business lending, consumer lending, merchant processing, payment processing,
Right.
debt consolidation. A lot of industries where, where you're dealing with, both consumers and B2B, but where you have volumes of people that you need to kind of engage with. We're even seeing some interest coming from financial advisors,
Okay, wow.
who are looking to build their book. So it really, there's a big range of companies and sectors within finance that are starting to take advantage of it, because you have to.
Right.
Your competitors are doing it. So, you can't stand there and say, I'm not going to do this. It's, you're either going to adapt or you're going to suffer.
And how do you see artificial intelligence in terms of AI Assist and Conversica advancing even further?
So, you referring to the technology itself?
Yes.
Yeah. So as I mentioned in the beginning a little bit, I touched on it. Right now, it's pretty much 95% email.
Okay.
And we just rolled out. And it's in beta test for text. Text has a lot of regulation that goes along with it. There's a lot more, permissions that companies need to have to be able to engage clients via text. And then chat is the kind of the final, frontier between those three, three written communication parts, and it has to do with the latency of the engagement, right? So if you send somebody an email, you expect that a person is going to take a few minutes, an hour to get back to you.
Right.
When you send a text, okay, maybe the person's not in front of his phone. You expect a few minutes delay, right? Chat, you pretty much expect it instantly. And so Conversica, where they have, there's other companies out there who I won't name their names, but you probably know of them, where they call themselves AI, and 100% of the emails that they get, or text messages, or whatever field they're in, email really, are viewed by a person, and
Okay.
70%, the decision is actually made by a human, as far as what to do and what to say. With Conversica, that's down to less than 5%, and that's
Wow.
because they've been around for, as I mentioned, such a long time and have such a huge amount of data that they went through, that they're able to get that down to less than 5%, and so that allows them to be able to act instantly. And so chat is very close by, and that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely. And in addition to the major advancements in innovation, what other goals would you say you have for your company?
Yeah, so we are looking to really become specialists and known within the different financial sectors, within different parts of it. We are looking to become the go-to place for AI technology as it relates to the finance industry, with a
Okay.
focus on sales and marketing. And so we're going to be looking at other technologies to bring into the fold as well. We're working with a few currently, and so that's
Amazing.
it's great stuff.
How do people find out more about you and AI Assist and Conversica?
Absolutely. AIassist.com. is the place to go. Come check it out. We're more than happy to have one of our salespeople give you a call, one of our account executives, to be able to speak and really help and explain and be as much of a help as possible.
Great. Well, be sure to check them out. And thank you so much, Roman.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hunter.
Oh, of course. And in just a few minutes, stay tuned because Life Tomorrow will be back with a short demo on how this all works.
Awesome.
Thank you so much again. We'll see you soon.